read me? I think I have found something.
On June 5, 2026, that call came from Nassau Harbor. Divers found 6 shipwrecks sitting right under the cruise ships. 3 of them date to 1715, the year Blackbeard took over. This was the first dive ever allowed here. The harbor was closed for decades. In 2 weeks, the new Providence Pirates expedition mapped what the sea buried for 300 years. In 1715, Nassau wasn't paradise. It was a pirate republic. The British abandoned it, and over 1,000 pirates moved in. Edward Teach, Charles Vane, Benjamin Hornigold, they controlled the shipping lanes between America and Europe. Edward Teach, Blackbeard, Charles Vane, Benjamin Hornigold, Anne Bonny, and Calico Jack. In July 1718, Governor Woodes Rogers arrived to retake Nassau. Most surrendered. First, Nassau is not in England. It's here in the Bahamas, 300 miles east of Florida. Today, 275,000 people live there. It's the world's second busiest cruise port. But in 1713, Britain was broke after a long war with Spain. They pulled their soldiers out of Nassau. No governor, no navy, no police. The town was left with just 100 people. The pirates didn't grow up in Nassau. They were sailors who lost their jobs. Britain had hired them as providers to attack Spanish ships. When the war ended, their papers were of no importance. So around 1,000 jobless sailors sailed to the empty island. Benjamin Hornigold was first, then Blackbeard, Charles Vane, and Anne Bonny. They turned an abandoned British town into the pirate republic. It's late 2025. Nassau Harbor looks ordinary. Giant cruise ships float above millions of tourists enjoying their vacation. But 30 feet below them, history is waiting. Recwatch TV receives the first permit ever to dive this busy working harbor. Diver Chris Atkins brushes his hand across the seabed and suddenly freezes. Metal. He clears away the sand. An iron cannon, still sitting on its original wooden carriage, still pointing toward the surface. As if it could fire today. The laboratory analysis wasn't finished until June 2026. That's when the world finally learned the truth. The last hands to touch this cannon may have belonged to Hornigold's pirates or Charles Vane himself. But the cannon wasn't the discovery that shocked archaeologists the most. Just a few feet away, they found black wood, burned wood. Why does that matter? Go back to July 1718. Governor Woodes Rogers sails into Nassau, determined to crush the pirate republic. Most pirates surrender. Charles Vane refuses. He sets a stolen French ship on fire and sends it straight toward the British fleet. A floating bomb. The British panic, cut their anchors, and barely escape. The team recovered this burned hull during the 2025 dive. But when the laboratory results arrived in June 2026, the dates matched perfectly. Burned between 1715 and 1720, inside Nassau Harbor. On purpose. This wasn't storm damage. Someone wanted the ship destroyed. Now, here's the real shocker. Then the small discoveries began telling an even bigger story. An iron swivel gun. The tiny cannon pirates bolted onto their rails for close combat. Dozens of lead musket balls. A grinding stone worn smooth from sharpening cutlasses. A Royal Navy ship wouldn't look like this. Navy ships carried standardized weapons stamped with the King's mark. This collection was different. Messy. Improvised. Personal. It looked exactly like the equipment pirates depended on to survive. Then came the statement that changed everything. Archaeologist Dr. Sean Kingsley said in the June 2026 report, "This is either a pirate ship or a ship built specifically to fight pirates." Either answer rewrites history. For 300 years, we had no physical proof of Nassau's pirates. Just stories, paintings, and Hollywood. Some historians doubted Nassau was even real. Then the 2025 expedition found 6 wrecks, 3 from the Golden Age, 1 burned on purpose. After months of lab work, the results went public in June 2026. Legends stopped being legends. It matched Governor Woodes Rogers' diary. July 26, 1718. Vane fired a ship and bore down upon us. Historians thought he exaggerated. Now, The burned hull sits below Nassau, dated to those exact years. The diary and the wreck, 300 years apart, finally agree. And it wasn't hidden in a remote ocean. It was under the world's second busiest cruise port. Thousands walked above it daily. Nassau never stopped working, so no one could dive it. Requatch got permission in late 2025 and revealed everything in June 2026. The ships weren't lost, they were hiding beneath modern life. For more than 3 centuries, people believed the pirate republic belonged only in legends and Hollywood. But beneath Nassau Harbor, the evidence is finally speaking. 6 shipwrecks have now been mapped beneath one of the busiest cruise ports on Earth. 3 have already revealed cannons, burned timbers, pirate weapons, and the first real physical evidence of Nassau's infamous pirate republic. But the story isn't over. 3 wrecks are still waiting beneath the sand. One of them is larger, deeper, more intact than anything discovered so far. It has survived storms, wars, treasure hunters, and more than 300 years of silence. Tonight, thousands of tourists will walk across Nassau Harbor, completely unaware that one of history's greatest mysteries may still be resting beneath their feet. Archaeologists haven't opened the final wreck yet. And when they finally do, we may discover that the greatest secrets of the golden age of piracy were never lost at sea. They were simply waiting for someone to find them. Because sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't made of gold, they're the truth. And somewhere beneath those quiet waters, another story, another crew, another forgotten chapter is still waiting for someone brave enough to bring it back into the light.